All right, what you're about to watch is part 2 to the deal negotiation masterclass we did with virtual assistants last week. This one, the whole goal was to get Alice to the point where she can start vetting leads a little bit further and get comfortable enough to start presenting offers to agents. If you guys have been following our process, I break it down even further in this video, so I think you're really gonna love this one. Let's hop right to the training. So if you remember, this is a continuation from part 1. Last time we spent with Miss Alice and Miss Sherry, VAs, teaching them basically how to have a better first call. This business is actually really simple. From first call to negotiated deal, we're trying to reduce the amount of time, the most we can possibly reduce. So last week we talked about how we actually make money in this business, right? We got 2 different situations. We either have the situation where the property needs work or the property doesn't need any work, right? One or the other. And what I typically go through is this thought process. Whenever somebody gives me an opportunity, first things first is this property off market or is this property on market? They gave me the address. Pretty easy to tell. If I go to type it into Zillow and I see that the property says for sale, then that tells me it is on market. Even if it's for sale by owner, I'll still consider that on market. The other side is like, hey, it does not come up as for sale. Then that clearly says to me that, hey, this property is off market and I'm going to need to ask more questions because I need some photos. I don't even know anything about this property, right? So that is your 2 different scenarios. Is it on market? Is it off market? And then does it need work or does it not need any work? So we talked with Miss Alice, who's actually with us here today. Alice, what's going on?
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for asking.
Sweet. Well, I'm pumped. Thanks for being here. We're going to spend some
Oh,
time.
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you sent over some call recordings too. So if you guys bear with us, we're going to go through some call recordings. We're going to listen in on what these calls sound like, give Alice some coaching and feedback, and then ideally by the end of this, be able to get Alice to the point where she can be confident enough to maybe even negotiate her own deals. Again, what we talked about last time is, does the property need work? Does it not need work? Is it on market or is it off market? We treat them differently, and the questions I have to ask are different. So if the property needs work, then we need to buy those at like 50 to 60% of ARV, and ARV stands for after repair value, right? So if the property is worth 300, then we need to buy it for probably around 150 to, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe closer to 160, maybe 170 max. But we need to have a good spread, especially right now. Who here was paying attention to the Fed's interest rate? The Feds had a meeting and they held rates steady, but looking like we're probably going to be getting an interest rate drop at some point, maybe even as soon as September. So hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, does the property need work? We need them cheap, right? We'll then find a flipper who's willing to pay 65 to 70 cents on the dollar. And that's how we get ourselves an assignment fee. So the questions that I asked Alice to start implementing it on her calls was, number 1, are they direct or are they a third party? We have to treat the deals differently. If we're trying to wholesale a deal an agent brought to us, if we're working with an agent who is also wholesaling, it can get a little weird and murky, right? We're talking about non-refundable earnest money, no inspection period, et cetera, et cetera. Not that we can't work with an agent who is a wholesaler and they're wholesaling a property, but it just makes it that much more difficult, right? Ideally, we're working with an agent who's representing the seller and they are their listing agent, right? The second thing is, okay, do you guys have any offers on the table and how soon are you looking to make a decision? A lot of times, especially with direct to agent, they are fielding offers and you're no better than the next highest bid, right? So what we try to do is be the last one bid. So if there's no offers on the table, but oh yeah, we already got some offers, they're going to be accepting highest and best by Thursday afternoon. Got it. Well, guess what? I'm not submitting my highest and best, and it may not even be the best. I'm not submitting it until Thursday, until the last little bit. I don't want, ideally, I want to see where the dust settles, right? So it's an important question to ask. If they have a property that's off market, they're probably already, the chance of you catching them and they're haven't even started marketing it, it's a toss up. Happens sometimes, but oftentimes they've already started kind of working the deal and sending it out to some people, okay? And fielding offers, because that's what an agent gets paid to do. They get paid to market and sell a property, right? Then we ask them what access is like. Is it owner occupied? Is it vacant? And then what is the best number they're willing to accept, right? Alice, have you been doing some of that on your calls?
Yes, I did. And I sent you some of my calls this last.
Sweet, I got those. We're gonna play those and listen to them. Are you excited or what?
Afraid.
It's going to be great. Thanks for sending those over too. Do you feel like the conversations have been a little bit better this week since you've implemented this?
Yes, but we need something in our buy box to buy. I'm wondering if you
How many properties have you gotten that were cash deals over the last week?
Around the 3 or 4 wholesales, and one today for negotiation, and one yesterday. I'm working on them both.
Nice. Very nice. Well, let's see if we can convert on something like that. I'll try to take a look, and maybe I'll even have a chance to call and negotiate one of those deals here live on the stream.
Oh yes, please. It's gonna be exciting.
I need to know where the leads are. Are they in the CRM currently somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, well, use
Rebecca can send
use
you
the
the
chat
link.
here and give me their names in the private chat, and I'll see if I can pull them up while we're doing the coaching and listening to calls, okay?
Okay, sure.
Sweet. Okay, the other scenario is the property needs no work, right? So if a property is retail, I can tell that if they bring it to me and it's on market and it looks turnkey, we are probably going to have to go creative finance on that deal. So the question that I ask is, do they have a mortgage? If so, I'm going to need to know how much do they owe? What's the interest rate? What's the monthly PITI? Is there any arrears? Do they have solar? Is there an HOA? All these questions. Most of the time, the agent, they don't have the answers to those questions on that call. So what we like to do is say, hey, can I send you an email? And if you could fill it out, basically it's just some questions about like what's owed against the property and stuff. If you can get that back to me, I can come up with some numbers on where we need to be as far as like monthly payments and what we could do for a down and all that good stuff, right? And they're normally like, okay, sounds great, right? We call that our template email. But if they don't have a mortgage, then we ask, like, okay, well, how much down and how much money per month would the seller be open to? If they're assuming they're open to creative financing, and instead of doing a seller finance, like, do they have any number in mind? Most of the time, they don't know. Say, don't know. That's a good question. So, okay, well, could you please go ask them? And we'll figure it out. So that's that, right? Of course, the way we like to be is that we want to be somewhere in the neighborhood of what I wrote down here. 5 to 7% is where we want to be as far as the creative offer is concerned. So in this example, if the property is worth $300K, right, is the ARV and what they're looking to sell it for, then 5% of this, right, 5% of this number is roughly 15 grand, right? So ideally, in 7% is what, 21 grand. So ideally, we are keeping it in a place where that's our number range. That's our money to the seller and that's our money to the agent. So, if we need to kind of set the table with them, we can, but that's just kind of how the numbers shake out. So if you guys are curious how these offers get put together, that's what that looks like. All right. So then we ask, what are they hoping to walk away with? Because based on this conversation, if they're looking to get 100K or something crazy, we normally can't do that deal. That deal is very tough to assign. So if we keep it at 5 to 7%, these numbers here, we can assign the deal. We can make money on it. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's on the creative side. You have two different scenarios. What we can't control is what the agent brings to us, because we want to encourage them to bring us deals. We don't want to discourage them and be like, yeah, only ones that look like this and this is specific, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's great, but you're going to lose most of your deals from most of your agents. You'll get a few that are just perfect, but like the real move on this is encourage people to send whatever the heck they got. And we'll try, as long as the seller's motivated, we'll try to figure out how we can solve their problem and get a deal in the meantime. Okay. So we talked about last training that I wanted to, and basically what we did was we got Alice to the point where she should have been able to have a higher quality first call, right? What happens next in this process, because normally we do a 3-call process. Normally what happens next is there's a second call where we vet the lead and the third call where we negotiate. So what I was hoping to do is by training Alice is to get her to be able to do both this and this. That was the idea. Both of these all on one call, right? To really see if this is something we could potentially work. Alice, do you feel like maybe you pushed over some higher quality leads this week?
Yes, I sent you a link private on Skype for a potential lead I got today of market.
What city is it in? To see if it's too late.
Let me check.
So anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to listen in on some of Alice's calls. What I want you guys here that are watching, I want you guys to give me some feedback on how you think the call went in the chat, okay? We're going to listen to her call, and I want you guys to give us some feedback. And after that, everything is said and done, I'm going to kind of give you guys what the next thing for Alice is and what she's going to learn. And hopefully we'll even have a lead here, potentially, that I can call and negotiate for you guys live. Would that be cool? It'd be great if we can negotiate a deal. The next step really for you, Alice, is going to be comping and negotiating. So I want to show you, you've already started comping, so we'll show you some of this stuff. But first things first, we're going to pull up some call recordings.
This is Alex, the police of Nathan. Hey, tell me.
Oh, okay. So I do have a potential client that's looking. So I went to the home yesterday. It's definitely a flip. Like 3 of the homes on the street, it has already been flipped.
Can you guys hear this?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Let me give you
I will give you the address. Hold on. It is 55.
Okay.
Give me a moment, please.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, 55 Tristan Drive, East College, 75
It's like, how many times? There we go.
Well,
I thought you had a country accent
are you
first.
directly with the seller, or are you wholesaling?
I'm going to represent the seller. It's not on the market yet. They're going to be, they're going to clean up a little bit for me. So I just was like, let me tell them about this because it has some work that needs to be done. And they understand that they're not going to get top dollar for this house.
Okay, so, I understand, this is off-market property, but did you get any offers from any investors or you?
No, it's not on the market yet.
Yes, I know. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how soon your client is ready to make a decision?
They want to sell it now.
Oh, really?
So sounds so excited.
Perfect. So, do you have an access?
Alice,
to-
message
to
me
see
the agent name, please.
Just sight and seen or look at the property.
Say that one more time. Have I been in the property?
Yeah, sight and.
I've been in it, and I went in it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So you have the access to show the property, right?
I don't have access, but they can let you in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let me ask about the best number that your client will access to sell the property exactly as is in a quick sale.
Say that one more time.
Sure. What is the best number that your client will access to sell this property as is in a quick sale?
225.
225.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Or, let's negotiate.
perfect.
They're open to negotiation.
Sounds great.
And I have not told any other.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it here and I'm just gonna call her because I think so. The thing about this call, it's like it's a big time like survey call. So what we don't want to do is when we're having a conversation is we don't want to make it seem like we're filling out a form, and just like and we can hear the typing in the background rather than just making it conversational, right? So we want to make it as open as we possibly can. Oh, well, okay, so they're looking to sell. Like, how soon are they looking to do that? Blah 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 blah. Right? So I see where she's like she wants to wait 14 days or whatever, but I'm still going to call her just real quick, just to at least have the conversation. I'm going to be Nathan.
Hello, this is Marquita Foxworth.
Hey, Marquita, this is Nathan. How you doing?
Hey, Nathan, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I know you talked to Alice earlier about the place you had off King, so I figured I'd just try to touch base with you real quick. I know she said you guys are trying to put a pin in it for a couple weeks and stuff, because I think, was it mom needs to sell her home or something?
Yeah, so let me tell you what's going on so you understand.
Okay.
So, mom is disabled, living with a sister who's disabled, who has cancer,
Oh,
and like Kempner, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I got him as a lead from a friend who's helping mom sell her house.
Got it.
So they're going to go in together and buy one home together with their proceeds.
Oh.
And they also need to get pre-approved because the amount they're wanting won't total the entire proceeds. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
So I just went and I started putting my feelers out there. She called me or texted me right in time today because I went on a listing appointment yesterday.
Okay.
And I just wanted to at least try to put the feelers out and see who was interested in it. You're the only person I'm in correspondence with.
Cool. Well, you know how I know how it normally goes too. I'm like, I know I'm not the only buyer out here buying houses.
Yeah.
I did see the 803 area code, and I'm from South Carolina, so I'm like, hey.
You what?
Oh yeah. I'm from Orangeburg. I don't know if you know where that's at, but.
I know what Orangeburg is. So I was a drill sergeant in Fort Jackson.
Oh,
So-
shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So I never changed my number.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, doing deals in Texas, 803. All right.
But that's why. And I thank you for calling. I just wanted to. They're very serious about it because mom is very sick.
Sure.
And I wanted to make sure we do a fast sale as soon as they are ready. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely ready. other houses in that community have been flipped already.
Sure.
And so I know that that would be a great price point.
Yeah, no, I think again that's the reason why I'm calling you, right? I get a bunch of stuff that comes across my plate every day where it's like, oh, it's worth 300 and they're looking for 290. What am I supposed to do with that? You know?
Right.
But like this one kind of came across. I'm like, okay, well this one's worth a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that makes sense. You know, I know obviously there's a lot of moving parts to something like this, and you know, with the family and them trying to get the next house and getting pre-approved and stuff, it can kind of be, you know, hurry up and wait in some of these situations. You know, how long it's going to take, who knows, you know, but it does sound like that's something where, you know, hey, if they can at least have something in hand eventually saying, hey, that way they don't have to put in contingent offers on there. Do you know if are they going like new build on the next one, or they already have their next place figured out?
They don't have it figured out yet. I won't take them until they get the pre-approval.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't blame you one bit. We all, especially with these buyers half nowadays, you go out here and they all just want to look at properties. But at least with them, you know that they're ready to do something at some point, you know?
Yeah, they're ready. They're motivated. So they're motivated by circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely. And I would like to have a sit down with you, if you don't mind, even whether it's Zoom or whatever, and talk about your business and how we can help each other in business.
Please, that would be amazing. I'm doing Zooms all day. In full transparency, I'm out of Phoenix, and most of the business that I do is actually out in Texas, and I do a lot of stuff in Florida too. But like most of our stuff is in the greater Dallas area, that or Houston. But yeah, I'm totally down. I would love to do a Zoom call.
Yeah. So the property that their mom is trying to sell is like on 7 acres.
Wow.
And I'm thinking maybe subdivide it, put some new builds on it or something.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really hard nowadays to get a hold of 7 acres with anything on it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, especially in a good location, you know, you got to have these people, they want to sell you 7 acres out in Abilene. You can't do nothing with that. But
yeah, this is Kempner.
Yeah.
It's near the old Fort Hood.
Mm-hmm.
So, but definitely, I'm gonna lock you in.
Please, yeah.
And we'll touch base soon, okay?
Yeah, I'll text you, and maybe we can figure out a time. I don't know. Today's already Wednesday, so maybe tomorrow or Friday or whenever we can hop on a Zoom call, kind of talk about deals, business. Like this is what I do for a living, so you know, totally. I'm always adding to the Rolodex. Would love to build a relationship. See if there's something we can do in the future.
Okay, that's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right, I'll shoot you a text. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
No, thank you.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this content and you're liking what you see here on this channel and you want to be a part of our live trainings that we do every single Saturday, that's where this recording came from. We call it our masterclass. You can join the very next one by going to noflufflive.com. You'll sign up there. You'll get the link. It's free, never charge for it. If you ever want the recordings from previous ones that you see here on the YouTube channel, or maybe even ones that I haven't even posted, go to noflufflive.com/masterclass pass. You'll see it in the description of this video. It's completely free. We never charge for it. The only thing that I hope is you use this information, you use these recordings, and you go make money. So maybe down the line, we can do some deals together. Let's get back to the training. That's a good lead. What are we saying, Alice? You said you just got this one today?
Yes, in the morning.
Nice. I want to get you to a place, like obviously when somebody's not ready to make a decision, the worst thing you can do is try to negotiate a deal, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, if she's not ready, obviously the client's not ready to accept any offer. The number they gave us is pretty stinking good. I haven't even comped the property. Is that your comps where you said ARV is 330?
Yes, ARV 330. And after the calculations, our MAO is just 162.
Under what now?
The MAO, maximum allowable offer, is 162.
162. Yeah. I mean, we could probably pay a little bit more than that, just depending on the sheer amount of work. But I mean, she says it is a fixer upper. So this is what we look for, right? And I want to get you to the point, Alice, to where, I mean, we're pulling out the information, you're asking the information, but we don't want it to sound like a survey call, right? We don't want it to sound like, all right, well, okay, you guys want 225. Okay. Do you have offers on the table? No? Okay, wonderful. It doesn't sound genuine, rather than the soft skills of being able to like just continue on and build some more rapport and, you know, just being confident in what you're saying. Because you've had a ton of these calls and like, you know, the questions to ask, I would just say, even if you need to write it down on a piece of paper or something rather than type it in, because like if I can hear somebody like filling out something in the background while I'm talking to them, I'm probably going to, get off the call. And that's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Chat, what do you guys think? Let me know. All in all, I mean, that's what we look for. We love to have an agent who got an opportunity. She hasn't sent it out to anyone else yet, and she's looking to try to figure something out. And she didn't run into these types of properties that often, but here it is. One just kind of fell in her lap. Like literally, that's the perfect case scenario. You deserve a good lead. That was a good lead. Is it okay if we listen to another call?
Yeah, it's okay. I sent in the mail call for 3 minutes. The short call if you'd like to listen to.
Yeah, let's do it. I think that would be a great one. And then, do you have any other leads that you want me to call?
So far, no.
Okay, cool.
But thank you for doing this.
What's going on?
Thank you for doing this.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're talking about making money,
Yep.
So I'm always in making money. Ask anybody in my family. Ask anybody in my world. It comes to doing deals, like, you put me on the phone with somebody, please, Lord, please. Here we go. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up your 3-minute call now. Okay.
Yes, hello, Jasmine. How are you today?
Good, and yourself?
I'm always good doing your good. Thank you so much for it. Jasmine, this is Alice. I don't know if you remember me. I reached out last month about investment property. Do you remember me?
Yes, I think I do.
Perfect. So Jasmine, simply, I'm following up. I wanted to check if you have any properties coming up that need some work, so I could put an offer on.
I don't have any investment properties at the moment.
Got you. So do you have any properties in good shape and ready to go?
We have one in Carrollton.
Could you please give me the address to look at it?
Yes, it's 3103 Abbey Road, Carrollton, Texas.
Give me a second. I want to check it. Hey, Jasmine, are you there?
Yes.
3103 Abbey Road in Carrollton, Texas.
Yes.
Abby.
I can see it's listed by Tutu Fontal.
Yeah, that's my broker.
Okay, got you. So I can see the property is listed 10 days ago. So did you get any offers? Do you have any offers on the table?
I'm not sure if she has any offers right now, but yes, it was barely listed like a couple of days ago.
So the property is free and clear, or your client has a mortgage on it?
The property is good to go.
Yeah, is it paid off?
I don't have that kind of information. I'm sorry. You already asked me too much questions.
No, because the property is in top shape, and your client is asking a retail value. So we can purchase the property in close to the listing price, in subject to if there is a mortgage, or in seller financing if the property is free and clear. That's why I asked if the property is free and clear or not.
Yeah, I think it is.
Sure. So if it is free and clear, we can, as I mentioned, we can purchase the property close to the listing price in seller financing with a cash down payment at the closing. So do you think
they're not doing seller financing. They're not doing seller financing.
I understand the problem. Do they have any concerns on creative financing or seller financing?
No concerns. They're just not doing seller finance. They're trying to buy another property.
I understand. No harm is done. So you have my number. If anything changes, just to let me know. And from my end, I'm gonna follow up with you in a few weeks. Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
I prefer to send you our buy box, so to know what we are looking for, so you can contact me back once you get anything in the meantime. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
I appreciate your time, Jasmine.
Good job asking the questions there. Chat, let me know what you guys think about that call. Alice, great job. Obviously ask them when they didn't have anything that needed work. Ask them if they had anything moving ready or at retail. I think it's just for you specifically on your calls to get a better connection, right, with the agent or whoever is on the other side, is to, just to make it seem like let the conversation go where the agent wants to take you a little bit. It's tough to put this into words. Like whenever the soft skills behind having the communication, having the conversation with the agent, it really just comes down to how we ask those questions. If we say, okay, do you have a mortgage? Okay, can you tell me what's the monthly payment? Okay, rather than, like, all right, that makes a ton of sense. Thank you so much. Do you know if they have a mortgage or not? Right? Like that, just asking the same question, but doing it in a more, like you even have a questioning tone. You know what I'm saying? So, because all we have on the phone call, guys, and I've said this before, on anytime we do any kind of training specifically around phone calls, you got 3 things, right? It's TPP. You got tone, you got pace, and you got pause, right? The tone is very important, right? So if they're going to be pretty monotone, keeping it monotone. And Alice, you sound like you're smiling through the phone, and I love that. Like, that is so important to keep good energy, because you're naturally going to bring people up to where you're at, right? The pacing on the call is good. Like, you're not trying to go too fast, you're not going too slow. But I definitely think, letting the conversation breathe a little bit and using your tone to your advantage of whenever you're asking a question, use a questioning tone. Do you know if they have a mortgage? Because like most of the time, it sounded like she was in her car. Like, she's probably not going to have all that information, at her disposal. And in this specific scenario, she's like, and you pulled it up and you're like, oh, it says it's listed, blah, blah, blah. She goes, yeah, it's my brokerage. It sounds like that was not even her listing. She would just be like, oh yeah, as like a buyer's agent, she goes, yeah, we have one. So the question asked there is like, oh, are you the listing agent on the property, right? In that specific scenario, whenever she's not like on the listing, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? But other than that, like, you asked all the right questions. You're like, okay, do you guys have any offers on the table? It looks like a retail move-in ready property. So in that scenario, we would want to do something a little bit more on the creative finance side, whether that be subject to or seller finance. Elmer, the link is different. If she wants to hop in here, it's a different link. Okay. So I'm going to text it to you, okay? If you could text it to her, that'd be great. But does that make sense, Alice? It's like you're asking all the right questions, and you're keeping the conversation link was even further, which is wonderful. But just know, every time you make an ask, which is you asking a question, you're asking a favor from the party on the other side. So the more that you ask questions, you just leave the door open for them to get a little bit more frustrated. So you really got to leverage, that rapport that you built. And every time like the rapport is there and you guys are having a good time on the call, you can ask another question. It's like it gives you permission to ask another question. But if we're just asking questions and then they're answering and we're typing in answers, and then we ask another question and then they answer and we type in the answers and then we ask another question, the call can quickly go sour. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But to that end, great job asking the questions that we were talking about, because literally the lead quality goes through the roof when we have more context like that. Because if you did not ask those questions, the previous Alice, who was just getting started, would have probably pushed that lead off Abbey Road. If they're like, do you have anything else that maybe turnkey, needs some work? And like, yeah, we have this one off Abbey Road. And you're like, okay, give me the address. Okay, thank you so much. We'll get you an offer out ASAP. Thank you, bye. Right? That would have been considered a lead, but you asked a few more questions and you realize these people aren't open to seller finance, and it's a turnkey move-in ready property. So we're not going to pay cash for that, So you at least was able to distinguish the lead, and you were able to vet it to the point where you're like, yeah, this is not a lead I'm going to push through, right?
Yes, exactly.
Which is all we can hope for. So great work. How do you feel about it? Like, listening to your own call, what do you think you would change?
Yes, the survey attitude that I'm having, I'm not typing anymore. I'm trying to have a call, just move with the flow. It's a friendly call to open-ended questions. So just have a conversation with the agents, ask your questions, but in a friendly way, more friendly and cool way.
Yeah. And just let it breathe, give yourself a chance to, when you call homeowners, direct to seller, you feel like you got to get all of it out as fast as you can, because they're probably going to hang up the phone, So if you come from that world of real estate, you're like, hey, just wondering if you ever consider getting an offer on your property. I don't want to say, well, before you go, it's like you try to get all of it out as soon as possible, because they're probably going to hang up the phone on you. With these agent conversations, you can let it breathe a little bit. And it's actually nice when you do, because the agent feels a little awkward on the phone. So they fill in the gaps and they start talking a little bit more, So
Yes.
Just a little bit slower on the questions, I think, would be the main thing. Curtis has a really good point here. One way I've found to get good information is the simple question of, what can you tell me about the property? This typically gets the agent to open up and gets you the most of what you'd ask anyway, without having to ask questions so it doesn't feel weird. Just my experience. I agree. I think that's a good line. What can you tell me about the property? Well, it's a tutu and blah, 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 and blah. They just renovated it. I don't know how much information this agent would have gave to you, because she seemed to be not the listing agent, but I like that. That's a good question. Thank you, Curtis.
Actually, the property is listed, so I have all the information I need. This is number one. Number two, she's listed by her brokerage, so she's disclosing the financial report. That's why I asked, if your client is not accepting subject to or seller financing, do they have any concerns on subject to? Trying to find the problem and make a solution and solve the problem.
100%. I like that direction for sure. But like in the beginning, it's like, I don't know, it's like having your dating profile up and you're like, this is what I'm looking for. This is my age, yada, yada, yada. My favorite color is purple and here's everything. And then somebody gets that and they're like, okay, I don't need any of that. So I should be your ideal husband. And this is the reason why. And blah, 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 blah. Because they read the sheet and they feel like because that information is out there, it's not worth talking about. So let's just talk about other things, that I think let's just get down to business. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to do that because that would come off and you would be like, get away from me, you creep, right? So what you want to do is we want to talk about whatever they want to talk about because it doesn't matter if they bring up what's on the listing. And in fact, most agents will just be like, okay, well, you see what's on the MLS there, but basically this is what the seller's looking to do. Because a lot of times they'll just assume that you've already looked at the listing description and they'll talk about something else. So when we say, what can you tell me about the property? Maybe they don't tell you about the bedroom, bathroom stuff, or maybe they do, just let them, right? I can't tell you how many appointments we've been on where I just had to let somebody talk, let them have the steering wheel for a minute, right? You're kind of guiding the conversation, but let them do the talking, let them do well, at least they feel like they're in control. And then you can ask leading questions to get where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? So when we ask, what can you tell me about the property? They may be like, well, it's a nice house, 3-2. They recently did some renovations and stuff. And what you could say is like, oh yeah, I see that on the listing here. That's really nice. What else can you tell me about it? Oh, well, they're looking to move, and they may get into some more personal stuff, right? Like, hey, they're looking to buy their next house and, they need to take their proceeds to do X, Y, and Z. Well, that's good information to have because then, if they're looking to buy another home, they're probably not going to do seller finance because they need to have a large down payment to buy their next house, right? Or at least you can ask them, say, okay, do they need a large sum of money to buy their next house? Is that what they're kind of waiting on? They need this house to sell before they buy their next one. You know what I'm saying? But like we can gather that information by asking questions like that and let them tell us what they want to tell us. Very good. I like that. Thank you, Curtis. Do you guys agree with that? Boop, boop. Alice, you're going to be a ninja on the phone.
Thank you.
Just killing it. I love it.
Actually, I used to do that with homeowners, not with agents, because it's very short. You're disclosing business with agents. You're not building rapport with them like you're doing with homeowners. That's why I have some questions. I need to get some information, and I'm gonna call you back to the business in the next call.
Yeah, because you feel like, and this is a big misconception, right? Because Alice, you feel like your job is to get as many properties over to your client as you possibly can, right? And then you feel like, well, we need to close deals. So if I'm not closing deals, then I'm not doing good at my job. And I actually say the opposite. I'm like, if you are saving me time by asking better questions and bringing me stuff that is like the one that I just talked to for you, that if I can spend my time talking to those, I don't care if I talk to half of the amount of leads, but I can spend my time on that kind of stuff. That's a tremendous help. That is a big, big, big deal. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just having a bunch of stuff. So like when you call homeowners, yeah, you're trying to just get, okay, what's the price? Okay, how soon you guys looking to sell? Okay, can you tell me about the condition of the property? Wonderful. If I gave you a $20,000 gift card to Home Depot, where would you spend it in the house? Okay, you need to do the kitchen. Got it. Floors. And I mean, it seems like a beautiful place. Why do you guys want to sell? Okay, you got the motivation, right? Like that's what you do with your homeowners. With the agents is different, right? We know. I mean, again, it's just more of a straight up professional conversation. Oh, you do have something. What can you tell me about the property? Really, what I want you to think about before you can phrase just about any question, starting with the word what or how, right? So what can you tell me about the property, right? Rather than, I don't know, what's the property's condition or something very basic being like, how's the property's condition? I can't even do it. I'm used to saying what and how questions all the time. But those questions lead to longer answers, lead them to explain more things, keep the conversation going, get more open to talking to you, which leads you to be able to qualify a better lead. So that's what I would say. Just doing that level of qualification is more important, in my opinion, than just getting a bunch of information and filling in some blanks. Like even if I didn't have anything else on a lead, you sent me over a lead and I don't know anything about, I don't know, the debt information or, I don't know, just many things that you could fill in the blank as you would on a call, asking price and all that stuff. But you gave me a ton of information about the seller situation and that they're going through a foreclosure and they're getting divorced and this, and this, and I have all this information about the motivation, then I can go figure out the rest. But like, that is great. The more that I have in that, it means you had a really good conversation, and I can go leverage that in my next call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Love it. Deborah says, I like to say, what can you tell me about the house that I can't see from the picture? Love it. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's listen to one more call here. This is great. Alice, you learn anything today?
Thanks so much for helping. You're helping me so much.
Yeah. All right. You talked to Jasmine. What's this 17-minute call about? That's a
I don't
long.
remember, but I believe this was one of my realtor's friends. Not sure. I don't
What is
remember.
it?
I have some friends from realtor. I have some friends.
Okay.
I built relationships with them before, so I'm disclosing some business with them for potential properties or potential deals.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's see if we can listen to this.
Yeah, is this Ellen? Yes. Hey, Beverly. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm always good when you're good. Thank you so much for asking.
Hey, so you're looking for another property?
Yes, I'm looking for off-market or listed properties coming up that need some work, so I can put an offer on.
What area are you looking at?
We're purchasing properties in Dallas in general, especially Dallas area, but we are purchasing in Texas generally.
Okay. This one is over in West Fort Worth.
Fort Worth? Oh yeah, we are buying there. Could you please give me the address?
Yeah. How do y'all operate? Because the investor that I normally work with, they just pay me a referral. You know,
Yeah.
like $5,000. And are you an agent?
No.
Okay, so the reason I'm saying he's an agent, but he doesn't collect commission. You know what I'm saying? They're wholesalers. But I can write the contract, but they just pay me like a fee, you know, for the lead for the property. So I've kind of got an idea where the numbers need to be. You know, if you want to look at the numbers and see what you can do, and then if you want to preview it, we can.
So what I understood from you now, and correct me.
All right, I'll pause this real quick. Alice, when did this lead come through? Hey, Alice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Let's go, Kevin. Hey, when did this lead come through? This one here that I'm listening to.
Beverly, I believe it was on Monday or by the end of last week, but I didn't get to the lead. Right? Give me just a moment.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, did you guys give them an offer on this or what's up?
I don't think so.
What are we doing? We'll give some offers. All right, here we go. Let me continue on.
You have an off-market property for an investor, and you are representing the investor, and you are selling the property. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not listed, but she wants me to handle it. Yeah, it's off market. She wants me to handle it. So I'm just wanting, you know, to
Realtors are always mostly concerned with their money for sure.
you know, or whatever. And if I can just get, you know, the investor to pay me the fee for finding it, you know, $5,000, and then if the
Please,
investor
Lord.
pays title,
We'll
then
pay you
I've
whatever.
got a number kind of where it needs to be.
I'm going to skip forward.
Commissions as referral. If
Can you
your
message me
client
this
is
agent's
willing
name
to
as
use
well?
Their title company, we are very flexible in that. There is,
They pay the realtor.
Okay.
as I mentioned, 50% of the commission as referral. I know it's off-market property, so if your commission in the sale is 5.
So in the future, what I like to say to these agents is like, you know, what will I get paid on the deal for bring it to you guys? I like to say, hey, we're super flexible. It's a deal by deal basis. If we're making a lot of money, I want to make sure you're making a lot of money too. I feel like if I just paid a flat fee all the time, it would be unfair to you. But if you want a flat fee, $5,000 is fine with me. And just see what they say. You know, that would be how I do it. Yep.
We get it.
So you want to look at the numbers and see if it would work, and I can send you the address.
Yes, please give me the address. I want to look at it very quick and disclose it with you if it's a good fit or not.
Okay.
Can you give me sorry. Can you give me the agent's name, please? Inside of Slack. Sorry, Skype. Instead of the link. I can't pull up the link. There we go. Thank you.
We are looking for indirect agents for properties, not wholesalers. This is number 2. We can make you an offer, no obligation cash offer on this property, but it's gonna be below this number. Why? Because the property needs some work on it, and we can buy it exactly as it is. and these are the comps in the area. So
You're thinking would offer, you want to,
I need to run comps, to be honest with you, but I believe it's going to be below 275 or 220, 215. Based on the comps I can see it right now. But I didn't do my calculation.
yeah, that won't work since they owe more than that. That's the reason. She did a
Oh,
loan modification on this property, so, I mean, right at this, she's not having to bring anything to close.
oh, Elena.
Listen to me. Let me ask you this first before.
All right, pause. Wait. All right. I'm going to comp this property real quick, okay, y'all? Give me 1 second. Because when somebody says they're going to have to write a check or it'd be less than what they owe. Well, hold on a second. This is a creative finance deal, right?
The client is not open to subject to.
They're not?
Yep, they are not.
Why not?
I'm not sure. She is going to list the property.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see what they owe before we move it forward.
They have 2 loans, and she would like to walk away with with $2,000. So she owes $273. The total of the 2 loans that she has.
What do you think it's worth?
I didn't run comps yet.
Okay. I definitely like how you positioned it, and you're like, hey, well, I'm looking at comps right now. Don't think we'd be able to pay $275. That's good. You can quickly blow up the lead too by doing that, but just be careful. But I definitely I like the going for it, I guess I would say, for that. Let me just double check this real quick before I move off of this. Okay.
Because cash offer will not be a good fit for this property by any means. They are asking $275. They owe $273.
Okay, cool. Well, let me see what we could sell it for. Do we know if it needs work? I'm sure I can get this. It was just a 19-minute conversation, guys. And I don't want to bore you with all the details. I just want to ask like the questions that we would need to know. Is it does it need work?
Yes, it needs some little work. And
Okay.
the agent didn't have any photos yet, but she sent me some link.
Oh, it looks pretty clean. Oh, is this back in 2018, these photos?
Yes, I was about to tell you this. This was listed in 2018 when the current owner, bought the property.
Okay.
But I believe she sent me an email. Let me forward it to you.
I'm just going to comp it for cash real fast. Looking for renovated cash. We're a 4.3. We're bigger than most of these other houses. Because what I would probably do here is it's what we call a subtail, right? I would say, hey, look, I can give them what they looking for, and I would only need the loan for like 12 months because I'm going to go try to sell. I'll obviously be reselling the house, but it's kind of tailor-made for that. If I can get it for a decent enough price, I think we could probably make a quick 20 grand here. She's not answering?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
She's not answering the phone right now, right?
I didn't call her now.
No, it's okay. I'll call her. Is it okay if I call her?
Yeah, sure.
A mailbox belonging to 81.
Oh, good. Let me send her a text.
You can ring another time. Maybe she's gonna pick up the phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her a voice note too. Hang on. Hey, Beverly, this is Matt. I'm just giving you a call. I work with Miss Alice. I know she had talked to you about a place. I think you gave her the address on it. We're investors, and she was like, I know. Yeah, she said that she had sent this property off Welch Avenue. Just want to see if there's something we could kind of figure out. I know it's kind of tough with what's owed against the property and being able to get them the money they're looking for, but I think there might be something we could do if we can try to get a little creative with how we do it. But nonetheless, would love to see if there's something we can figure out. If you got a moment, I know it's getting a little late in Texas, but feel free to give me a call whenever you get a moment. Thank you so much. Okay. See if we can do something. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously the conversation went for as long as it did because you're asking good questions. I want to get you to the point where I think the strategy there on that call went very well, to the place where you mentioned some numbers. You didn't commit to a number, right? And you did it in a way that was it wasn't offensive, right? You weren't like saying, hey, your numbers are crazy. You're just like, yeah, if we're going to do cash, I have looking at the numbers here in the neighborhood, I see stuff in 250s, I see 215, like you started throwing out some numbers and she quickly was like, yeah, she can't do that because she owes 273. I don't know if she would have gave you that information if you didn't mention that. You know what I'm saying? So like one of those things to where I think that's the right play there. Oh, that's her. She's calling me right now. Hang on. Hello.
Yeah, I had a missed call. It's Bev Dollar.
Hey, Bev, this is Matt Beard. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am so good. I know it's a little late, so I'm sorry for calling you so stinking late.
No, it's okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I work with Miss Alice. She had sent me over I think you guys had been talking about a property off of Welch. Gosh, it may have been, was this a couple days ago? I'm not sure. But I at least wanted to give you a call, just kind of get caught up to speed. I'm kind of responsible for like underwriting and figuring out what properties we buy and that kind of stuff. And she kind of told me you're no stranger to working with investors and stuff. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Well, me and Bev should definitely talk.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, tell me what's going on with the property. I know she was like, well, they got to get a certain amount, and I think does it need some work?
It needs a little bit of work. I'm actually at dinner with my husband about it.
Oh my gosh, you want to call me back whenever you're done, or maybe tomorrow?
It's okay. Well, are you going to be available in the morning? Because I have all the numbers. I've actually got the listing agreement signed. I was going to put it in MOS. Because they can't, and I've told her repeatedly that they cannot leave it in their name.
Yeah.
It's a situation where they're going to be getting divorced. So they just need to sell it.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But if you want, call you in the morning, if that's okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Give you the information on it.
Please.
And see. Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Work?
Yeah, I'm out in Phoenix. I'm about 2 hours behind you, but most of my properties I end up buying is right there in Dallas. So I'm used to working that time zone. So whenever is good for you, call me. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I'm always up early anyways.
Well, text me your information and let me know that you're 2 hours behind me. And then I'll call you accordingly in the morning.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bev. All right, talk soon. All right, bye. There we go. They need it out of their name. But if I can put a little bit more money in their pocket and they don't have to, look, they want $2,000 to walk away. Well, guess what? In 30 days, they're going to have to pay that mortgage payment again. So that $2,000 literally means nothing. They're basically okay with walking away with nothing. So if they can work with me, I might be able to give them a little bit more money if they let me keep it in their name for 4 or 5 months. And they can just be done with it. And maybe I can give them $8,000, a little bit more money than them having to come out of pocket. I'll cover all closing costs and stuff, right? So I like the deal. So one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to argue with people who, she said she mentioned it to you a couple of times. I didn't listen to the recording. If they say creative finance isn't going to work because of X, Y, and Z, don't even worry about pushing it, right? I would say just in these types of scenarios, I don't want you to go too crazy with it. Because I know we could kind of pick it up and get it closed. Where I think you are going to get to the place, Alice, faster is you're going to be able to negotiate cash deals pretty stinking soon, right? You got, you're to the place where you can mention numbers, you're able to run comps, because really that's the next step, right? If we look at this and how this process works, y'all, let me pull up the iPad so I can show y'all how this goes. Hey, real quick, before we continue on with the training, I want to invite you to our private Facebook group. It's called No Fluff Real Estate with Matt Beard. It's completely free. It's a community full of investors that are interested in the same things you are based on you watching this video. If you want to be a part of an amazing community that's absolutely free, the link's in the description. Let's get back to the training. So what happens is leads become a no-brainer, right? You will get more leads. I promise you, if you follow what we talk about here. If you guys are in the mentorship, you're in the coaching program, you already know this to be true. You're going to have a lot of leads. But the biggest bottleneck is not the leads. So leads equals step 1, okay? Now, what a lot of people do, right, they leverage systems, right? So Deal Generator, we send out automated text messages and stuff, which, by the way, you guys, if you're using Deal Generator, I have a really cool solution I'm working on that you guys might be able to start sending out upwards to 4,000 texts a day. So it's going to be crazy. For context, we've been sending 40 a day. We're about to ramp it up like crazy. So if you're using Deal Generator, good for you, or whatever system you're using, you can leverage that to get more leads. And then a lot of people, especially in the mentorship, you guys are using virtual assistants, right? So this part becomes pretty straightforward, but virtual assistants is the next answer, right? So that's what you've been doing. In any given day, you guys are generating anywhere from 3 to 8 leads a day, right? But where the nuance becomes is making these types of deals work, right? And being able to underwrite them quickly and get offers. So step 1, Alice, you've been doing this for a while, right? You've been getting leads. So what happens next, is the biggest bottleneck becomes underwriting, which is another word for just deal evaluation. Right? Knowing if you have a good deal or not, or where your numbers need to be so you can have an educated conversation with the person on the other side, right? So this is step 2. So you can move forward in confidence. And this is very important for everybody working this system, if you're working direct to agent, your assignment fees are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 grand. You're not going to get the 40, 50 grand assignment fees because these agents can go get more money from somebody else always. So everybody's numbers are typically right there in the same neighborhood. So what's going to set yourself apart is being able to properly underwrite the deal and know the nuances, being able to present this and get the deal done. Knowing that if someone's always going to be able to outbid you, you got to be able to stand out amongst the rest, right? So being able to underwrite the deals and give out offers becomes the next bottleneck. Because again, if we're sending anywhere from 3 to 8 per day, right? If you don't get to these 8 properties, tomorrow you'll have 16. The next day you have 24. The next day you have 32. And within 5 days, you have 40 leads. And you have this big stack. And time kills all deals. So like this property, for example, the one we just talked to, the agent talked to Miss Alice. Literally, Alice, she talked to you yesterday, I think. Let's see if I go back to conversation. This was sent, 26th. Yeah, this was on the 26th. Yeah, right. So last week. So like we almost missed this deal potentially because it's been this long, right? Because she now has a listing agreement and she's about to put it on the MLS. Time kills these deals. If you have 8 leads a day and you don't get out offers to them, then what's the point of even getting them, right? So that becomes the next bottleneck, being able to evaluate them. So this is typically where we help students underwrite their deals, evaluate, give out offers, and do exactly what I'm doing here right now, right? So you're there, Alice. You can evaluate the deals pretty much. We went through trainings on comping. You've done that, right? So comping, and let me just put this in parentheses for everybody. This is comping, okay? And then after underwriting, the next step is negotiating, right? So I think, Alice, you're in this bridge here, you're in this place where really there's nothing wrong with starting to do this, right? Because like the reason why most people never, you don't get good at this skill is because you don't get repetitions into doing it. You're going to have to go blow up some deals basically, which is okay. So we'll pick some along the way in between now and our next call, because there might be a part 3 to this. Between now and the next call, I'm going to give you some leads and I'm going to give you the numbers on them. And I'm going to have you call and negotiate the deal and tell them where we need to be on price and give you the lines. Because basically, it's very simple. I didn't know if we'd maybe have somebody today that we can do this with, but we've had a few conversations, which is wonderful. I like this with Bev. I think we're going to be able to do something here. But basically, when we get on the phone, I'm just confirmed. What offers do you have on the table? How soon is the seller looking to accept something, right? And most of the time, our offer is going to be less than what they're looking for. So you got to position it. You got to say lines like, hey, look, based on what they're looking for, I don't know what their bottom dollar is. And I'd hate to be lumped in with the rest of the people I'm sure you guys have calling you who are offering you. And you probably say, oh, these are lowball offers. Where do I really need to be to get this done? If it's $5K off a list price, I'm lower than that. Realistically, to come in with a number that we could potentially work something out, where do I need to be? And then after I say something like that or say that line, then I'll circle back and I'll be like, okay, well, look, I'm still probably lower than that. Is it worthwhile to put it out there and have them consider it? Or is this something to where maybe I can circle back in a little while and maybe it's not worth even presenting the offer, right? Giving an offer on all these properties doesn't mean writing a contract and sending it to every one of them, right? That's not what it means. It's having the conversation to see if it's even worthwhile to present. And if we're right there and in that ballpark, sure, we'll draw it up. But those are the questions you have to ask. Does that make sense, Alice?
Yes, sure. But I felt it's not a good fit for us because they are asking a higher price in cash and we cannot do so. At the same time, they are not willing to go for subject to. However, we can pay that price in subject to and they would like to walk away with 2 grand. So it is not a good fit for us. That's why we didn't move forward in this deal.
Right. But again, it's well, I think there might be a world, and that's where I'm not using this as an example. I don't want you to negotiate creative finance deals yet. You're not there yet. But I don't think you're that far away from being able to negotiate cash deals here, right? To at least be able to present yourself, and be reputable and say, look, I don't want to be a low baller. I don't want to be lumped in as a low baller, but is there something we can figure out here? Is it even worthwhile present the offer? Okay. So I'm going to pull some leads that you have and I'm going to have you call them and I'm going to have you record them I'm going to save those recordings for our next training, but I want you to be able to position it because you never know. Plenty of times we say, look, we're pretty far off. Is it worthwhile to even present this? You never know. Some people are like, send me something in writing. I'll try my best to get it accepted. We just want something, like that happens more times than you think. So I want to get you to where you can have that conversation to where like maybe we double check your numbers or Nathan double checks your numbers. And then you can just pick up the phone and did what I just did right there. Because where I feel like you guys are missing out on a ton of deals is the wait in between. The time in between these leads is what's killing you. Because we could potentially have lost that one if we waited any longer. And the other lead that was pushed through today, if that went a couple more days, she's got other investors I'm sure she's ready to work with, but she hasn't sent it to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? So time kills all deals. So if we can shrink this time here, like this time, if we can, between underwriting, this one right here, if we can shrink this to be as little as possible, right? Ideally, even the same day. On these leads, if I can get to this conversation, and this is what we see, like when I was looking at our deals internally, and I'm looking at our sales team, I'm like, guys, how can we do more deals? We got the lead flow. How can we get more deals than 1 in every 70, 1 in every 75? Like, how can we get that closer to 35 or half of that? We literally cut down the time in between underwriting to negotiating, and the amount of leads that it took to get a deal almost cut in half as well. I'm giving it to you guys today. Like literally, this is the game. This is the game. So if your business is inconsistent, normally for many of you guys right now, if you're not doing any more than like 4 deals a month, then somewhere in here, you're getting lost. Just the top piece, okay? And if you're not doing deals consistently, this is the next piece. So anywhere you introduce time, you have a chance to lose the deals, okay? So you want to get through this as fast as possible. When we do direct to seller, it's a different sort of feel, right? It's a different sort of time, right? But if we can get this to the point where you got the lead in, all right, let me get this over to the team and see what we can do. Can I call you this afternoon? Agents that are about their money, they're about their money. We forget, like these sellers have already raised their hand. They want to sell. Like they would love to accept an offer today if we can come to the right price, right? So that's what we have to do. We have to get to these people as fast as possible. So Alice, I want to challenge you. Anytime you got somebody that's on the hook this coming week, I want you to send it to me. So then that way we can get to them fast. Okay. I'll double check your numbers and then I'm going to have you call. If it's a cash deal, I'm going to have you call and present it. I'll give you some coaching on it for the specific situation, and I'm going to have you go present it because I love to get you confident enough to be able to do that. Because do you understand how big of a game changer that is?
Yes.
If the only thing you were waiting on is someone to give you where we needed to be on numbers and you were confident enough to go to negotiate, think about how many deals you'll be doing on a monthly basis. Quite a few. And don't even worry about blowing up deals. There's always another agent. There's always another property. And in fact, most of these agents will bring you multiple properties, but that's where we're at with it. Does that make sense? Everybody watching, does that make sense, you guys? So everybody, that for our training here today, Alice, let's give it up for Alice for making the calls and sending over recordings. I'm gonna do a little applause. If you guys can hear the applause. You guys and gals that are watching right now, you're literally watching a VA be trained to do acquisitions. This is what it takes. This is how you get somebody and train someone up to be able to do probably one of the most important jobs in your business. It doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen in 1 week. It may take 4 weeks, it may take 6 weeks, it may take 8 weeks, whatever. But like, how long do we plan on being in business? For me, I want to be doing this for the rest of my life. So it makes sense for me to invest in training our VAs like Alice, like Judy, like Sherry that was here. So then that way they can take on big responsibilities so our business can grow. It's our duty. It's our responsibility. If we want to really have the business that we want to have, this is what it takes. Hopefully you guys are getting value from these trainings and what we do for Masterclass. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Wednesday night. And I'll see you next time, okay? Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Judy. We'll see you guys.